Why would we ruin your sister's big day with your presence? Dad's voice was calm, like he was discussing the weather. He didn't even look up from folding the silver tie he planned to wear at her wedding. We just didn't think you'd fit in with his new family. The words stung worse than shouting ever could. My name is Elena, I'm 29. And if you think silence is less brutal than cruelty, wait until you're erased from your own family's guest list. The invitation had never come. The mailbox was empty, except for bills I'd been helping them pay. 4 or 5 years, $18,000 a year, slid quietly from my account into theirs. Their mortgage, their comfort, their stability, built partly on my sacrifice. Yet I was disposable, an afterthought. Mom sat in the kitchen with her coffee cup trembling, as if she wanted to say something but knew better. My sister's photo was taped to the fridge, her white dress glowing under cheap magnets. Not one picture of me. Not one. I walked upstairs, opened my laptop, and with a single click canceled the automatic transfers. No more quiet lifeline. No more invisible daughter. This morning, Dad's voice cracked through the phone. He's driving around looking for you. Your mother's crying in the living room. The irony made me almost laugh. They had locked me out of their celebration, but now they were terrified of being locked out of survival. Have you ever had family cross your boundaries like this? Let me know in the comments. And in that moment, I realized sometimes love is just a debt they expect you to keep paying. The phone was still warm in my hand when I set it down. Their panic didn't move me. For once, I let the silence stretch across the room like a curtain. The fridge hummed, the clock ticked, ordinary sounds that felt louder than my father's begging voice. I glanced at the photo again. My sister in her lace gown, holding the man who now fit better than I did. My reflection caught in the glass, faint, almost erased. I pressed my thumb against it until the magnet shifted and the picture slipped sideways. I thought about the years I'd gone without vacations, without upgrades, without indulgence, because I told myself family came first. That money was safety for them. Now, it felt like chains I'd been tightening on my own wrists. The doorbell rang once. Sharp. Then again, longer this time. My heart thudded, but not from fear, from clarity. Dad really was driving around, desperate enough to show up. Open the door, Elena. His voice, muffled but forceful, cut through the wood. We need to talk. Mom's crying echoed faintly behind him, her sobs stitched with guilt. I stayed still. I wanted them to hear the weight of my silence, to understand what it meant when the invisible daughter finally vanished from their balance sheet. On the counter, my old house key glinted under the kitchen light. A motif of trust once handed down, now just a reminder that not all keys open doors anymore. And in that pause I realized, sometimes the loudest answer is no answer at all. The pounding on the door stopped, replaced by footsteps pacing across the porch. Dad's shadow shifted through the frosted glass, his figure restless, then still, then moving again. Elena! You're being dramatic, he called, his tone sliding into that familiar mix of command and dismissal. This isn't the time to make a point. Your sister deserves her happiness. The word dramatic twisted in my chest. Was it dramatic to ask for an invitation? To expect acknowledgement after years of quiet sacrifice? My hand drifted toward the counter, where that house key still sat, cold and indifferent. You think this is about money? His voice sharpened now. We raised you. Don't forget that. Raised me. I nearly laughed. They'd raised me to be useful, pliant, dependable, a daughter who filled the spaces no one else wanted. Babysitter, errand runner, silent donor, never the guest of honor. Inside the kitchen, the air smelled faintly of burnt toast from breakfast, though I hadn't eaten. Hunger gnawed, but pride kept me still. Mom's voice, trembling, reached through the door. Please, sweetheart, don't do this. We love you. Love, yet exclusion. Love, yet silence when they planned without me. Love, yet an empty mailbox while invitations went elsewhere. I stepped closer, pressed my palm to the wood. Not to let them in, but to feel the barrier between us. Solid, unbroken. Go home, I whispered to myself, knowing they wouldn't hear. You already made it clear where I don't belong. The key shimmered again in the light, as if daring me to decide what doors I'd lock forever. The footsteps faded. Tires crunched against gravel, then silence. I thought they had left, but then my phone lit up again, this time a message from my sister. I heard you canceled the transfers. How could you do this to us? We counted on that money. It's selfish, Elena. Selfish. The word struck harder than I expected. My chest tightened, and for a moment I almost replied, almost explained how it felt to be erased. But then I saw it. The photo magnet had slipped further, now hanging crooked, her perfect smile slanted. Somehow it looked truer that way. I set the phone down without typing. The screen glowed, then dimmed, leaving me in the hush of my apartment. Outside, a bird landed on the windowsill, pecking lightly against the glass. Even nature seemed to remind me. Some things only take, never give back. Another buzz. Dad again. We'll fix this, but you need to be reasonable. Just come over. Let's not ruin your sister's big day. Their big day. Their family. Their unity, with no space carved out for me. My eyes shifted to the old box tucked beneath my bookshelf, the one with envelopes, bank receipts, and copies of every transfer I had ever made. Proof of what I'd given, and what they'd chosen to forget. I pulled the box closer, brushing off the dust. If they wanted to treat me like I didn't belong, maybe it was time to show them exactly what my absence cost. And for the first time, my silence felt like power. I opened the dusty box and let the envelopes spill across the table like pale confessions. Each stamped receipt was a small, white lie I'd told myself. I'm helping, I'm family, it's nothing. My thumb found the corner of the latest bank statement. The automated transfer marked mortgage payment cleared. For years, my name had been the quiet hinge holding their front door shut. A notification buzzed. The mortgage company. Unpaid transfer. Payment failed. My pulse didn't jump, it steadied. Someone there would call. Someone would check the ledger. The invisible thread I'd been pulling was now a visible seam. I pictured Dad driving in circles, Mom crumpled on the couch, my sister in her dress, sudden fragility breaking around them. That image was oddly sharp, like a photograph developed too soon. I felt no glee, only a cold, steady clarity, the realignment of who I was to them. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A voice message. Elena, it's Tom from the bank. We received a notice. Are you aware? Practical, neutral, not accusatory. It was the world outside family, process and consequence, knocking politely while the house trembled. I thought of the key on the counter, of all the times I used it to let them back in. I slid a blank check from the box and wrote a single line across the top, no longer discretionary. Then I closed the ledger and set the check back inside, like returning a weapon to its sheath. Outside, rain began, a soft, steady tapping that sounded like pages turning. In that hush I understood. Removing myself wasn't cruelty. It was a sentence in a language they'd finally have to learn. Rain streaked the window, distorting the glow of streetlights until they looked like melted halos. I sat at the table with the box of receipts spread out like evidence in a trial, each slip of paper whispering. You gave, they took. Another buzz lit my phone. This time a text from Mom. Your father can be harsh, but he didn't mean it like that. Please, don't make us suffer for one mistake. One mistake? My throat tightened. Was it one mistake when they invited everyone but me? Was it one mistake when year after year my contributions were received with silence, no thank you, no acknowledgement? My reflection in the dark glass answered, no. I typed 3 words back, deliberate, final, check your balance. For a long moment, I only heard the hum of the fridge. Then the phone rang again, Dad's name flashing. I didn't pick up. Instead, I turned the key over in my hand its ridges catching faint light. Once it symbolized belonging. Now it felt like proof of trespass. I placed it on top of the crooked wedding photo, pressing metal against paper until her smile crumpled slightly under its weight. In that tableau, the receipts, the key, the picture, I saw a truth I'd never dared to name. I was no longer part of their home, but I had been the one holding it up. And when the rain deepened into a steady roar, I realized sometimes storms don't destroy. They cleanse. The storm outside grew louder, thunder rolling like an argument that refused to end. My phone buzzed yet again, this time a different voice on voicemail. My aunt. Elena, sweetheart, I don't know what happened, but your parents are frantic. They said you cut them off? Is it true? Her tone was careful, but beneath it, curiosity glimmered. Not concern, curiosity, like family gossip was more nourishing than truth. I didn't call back. Instead, I opened one of the older envelopes from the box. A transfer from 3 years ago, the memo line scribbled, "Keep the house safe." I'd written those words with hope. Now they read like irony. The phone rang again, and this time I let it play on speaker. Dad's voice, sharp, desperate. "You think this proves something? All it proves is you don't care about us. You still wear that perfume, don't you? The one your sister hates. Always trying to stand out. Always making things about you." That decoy line landed strange, half insult, half confession of how much space I still occupied in their minds. My chest burned, but not with shame, with recognition. I glanced again at the key, heavy against the ruined wedding photo. Slowly I picked it up, slipped it into the envelope with the receipts, and sealed it shut. Evidence. Closure. Transformation. I whispered to the storm, "No, Dad. This proves I finally care about myself." And for the first time in years, the silence inside my apartment felt like home. Morning came soft. The storm washed away into a quiet, silver sky. My phone was heavy with missed calls, but I didn't scroll. I brewed coffee, the scent rising like a curtain lifting, and laid the sealed envelope in front of me, the box of receipts, the key, the ledger of years erased. A final message buzzed. This time, "My sister, we didn't mean to hurt you. Dad's angry, but maybe you should still come. We'll talk after the wedding. Just don't leave us like this." Not an apology, just another bargain, another plea wrapped in convenience. I placed the phone face down. Instead, I drafted a letter to the bank. "Please remove me from all automatic transfers connected to the family mortgage. I will no longer be responsible." I signed it slowly, each letter a boundary drawn in ink. When I slipped the envelope into the outgoing mail slot, the sound was small but final. Back inside, I noticed the crooked wedding photo, still under the magnet. For the first time, I didn't straighten it. I let it tilt, imperfect, true. The key sat where I'd left it, no longer an invitation, only a relic. I dropped it into the box, closed the lid, and pushed it beneath the shelf again. If they wanted me only as a resource, then they would learn how absence feels. And if they ever wanted me as a daughter, it would take more than panic and guilt to unlock that door.